Is that not implicit?
No, not implicit enough.
Okay, my uncle works at Nintendo.
Wait, Evan, was that whose top 10 put Breath of the Wild in there? For some 10 out of 10 games.
It is a 10 out of 10.
What kind of shit is that? No. There's no story in that fucking game.
I'm not rating this on a sifted thing where you have to rate every single game with online has to be part of it.
No, I'm not rating it where
live,
online
gentlemen.
isn't part of it either. I'm rating it on like this barren, boring world that nothing's in it because it's just damp and empty and nothing interesting.
Well, yeah, that was an
There's
opinion.
a reason why there's making Hyrule Warriors, whatever the title is, for being the prequel of the game, because they realized they fucked up the story so bad. They're like, oh no, we need to fix it because we tried to do story DLC and say there's story.
That's not why they made the game.
DLC.
No,
they found an opportunity to fill that hole with the game.
Yeah, because they fucked up the first time.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, they
more
fucked up
importantly
twice.
than what everyone else is talking about right now, Evan saw that I'd posted a picture on Instagram and immediately had to try and one-up me with his box of red Carlsberg with all the signatures of the Liverpool players on it. Saying that though, I'm currently drinking out of a Carlsberg Export glass.
Oh, nice. There you go.
But I'm not drinking Carlsberg Export. Carlsberg itself is piss. Carlsberg Export is actually quite nice. I'm drinking Cobra.
Look at how fancy that looks.
Not Cobra Kai, just Cobra.
No, just Cobra. Bonus point for anyone who can say what this is. Indian lager, brilliant. Anyone who can name the animal that this was originally branded as and sold terribly, so they rebranded it as Cobra, and then it sold really well.
Donkey.
Viper.
Anyone else like to guess?
A monkey.
And it's not donkey, it's not viper.
Wait, sorry. Can we get a hint? Is it like the same species, mammal, cold-blooded, warm-blooded? Can you at least give us
It's from the Indian subcontinent, and I'll give you a hint. It's a big cat.
Llama.
No, llamas aren't big cats.
It was a tiger?
I thought he was being like really out there and like saying a llama could be a cat.
It's way too early for Mitch.
This early in the morning.
Dude, it's just early in the morning and I stayed up too long watching Cobra Kai, so don't do this to me.
It was panther.
Nice. Okay.
Why it didn't so well.
I don't know that I would.
It sold terribly.
I don't think I'd drink anything.
And then they rebranded it as Cobra, and it started selling.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. We are the Pixel Pints crew, or some of us at least. We are the only global gaming podcast that talks about two things that we enjoy, which is good beer and video games. We are not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly, even from your Liverpool-branded box of Carlsberg.
Yeah, it's right there.
Are you going to keep the box?
I'm thinking about cutting out that section and then finding a frame that fits it.
That's really sad.
I've done that before with just a shopping bag that I got in South Korea. It had a really cool design in it, so I just cut out the part of the design. It's framed right over there.
Great.
That's cool.
It's a good story.
Right. Anyway, moving on from that boring shite. We go around the room, see how everyone is. I don't care about how Evan is because he just tries to one-up me on Instagram. Liam, how's things with you?
Well, it's going well. Yeah,
are you prepared for
Instagram a lot?
Are you prepared for the upcoming Last of Us Part 2 spoiler cast that you guys are going to be doing at some point in the future?
Yeah. Took my phrase.
It should be tomorrow morning, I believe.
Just to prepare people, I listened to episode 300 of the Podquisition, which had a special appearance from Gav, Miracle of Sound himself, who hasn't been on the show in a long time, and he said he fucking hates that game, and he is one of the biggest Last of Us fans that there is. The Last of Us is his favourite game of all time, and he said he fucking hates The Last of Us Part 2. He hates what they did to Ellie, and at the end of the game, he wished that everyone had died.
Oh wow! Well, I have an interesting podcast
Wow,
to listen
spoiler
to
much.
tomorrow.
Well, it's gonna. I thought that's about as much as I can spoil because I've not played the game.
Hate everybody in the game.
Um,
in which case, I think you have a problem with being sympathetic to people's problems.
And he just disappears when that happens.
I don't know who this Gav Miracle of Sound person is, by the way. So, no offense.
Oh, he's a stalwart on the Podquisition for many years until horrible people drove him off the internet and he got rid of all of his social media accounts and everything like that because he once said a video game was bad and he didn't like it, and then lots of people abused him for it because stupidness.
I enjoyed him on the podcast. I thought the three of them worked really, really well together. It feels like it's missing a little bit of something without him on.
Yeah.
I still listen to it.
Right. Mitch, how's things with you?
It's fine. Just waiting for training, and that just is. I don't start training for another week, so it's just. I don't have to look for work, so I've just been, just taking care of personal stuff, which has been fun. But Cobra Kai, it's enjoyable, short, and I also hate the Karate Kid, so I actually enjoy Cobra Kai. So there you go. There's my pitch.
I'm very glad that it's been renewed for a third series.
Fourth season. Fourth?
For another one.
Oh no, sorry. Third. Well, third is coming out.
Yeah.
Third already been shot, and it's coming out in January. And then the fourth, it got renewed for a fourth season.
It's not called Karate Kid in Japan.
What is it called?
We've already been through this, for fuck's sake.
Is it called the Broken Leg Kid?
No, it's called Best Kid.
Oh my god!
Because you thought you saw on a T-shirt from someone watching when you watched Stranger Things, and it had Karate Kid in this T-shirt in Japanese, and you thought it's not called that; it's called Best Kid.
Excuse me. Technically, it's called the Best Kid, so this is
yeah. So there's that, and then we're gonna shoot The Last of Us Part 2. If you're in American time zone, it's gonna be at night. I think about like 11ish. Well, I'll have Daniel tweet on Pixel Pints for you guys, and I'll host it, and we do have a special guest that will be joining us, so we're very excited about that. So stay tuned.
It's not
I know who it is.
His name has a double T in it.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So and then this one that's funny.
I mean, I spell my name with one T, so
yeah, that's even weirder. But
yeah, Matt pops on, like, guess what, motherfuckers? I got the platinum trophy. Didn't tell anyone.
But I was gonna say after this one, like, nothing will be unturned. We will address everything. Like, we are not done until we are done. Like, I understand there's a lot to unpack here, and it may take 2 hours, if not maybe a little bit more. We are committed to the task at hand. So. If you're looking for your favorite podcast to actually cover everything about The Last of Us Part 2, this is going to be the one, because I've seen every other one and none of them get all the way to the end. So, you know what? We're going to say, F you, we're going to do it right.
Yeah. And I forgot, based on what Shane said on Game Face about not saying fuck within the first half hour, otherwise you get buried in YouTube. Yeah. So I've said it 3 times already.
That's okay. You know what the magic is, McWumble? You just get the editor where you have the bleeper and just go beep, beep, beep.
I mean, technically that would be my job, but it's way too early to deal with that shit.
Yeah. Speaking of Matt, how is Matt, who only spells his name with 1 T, which is weird?
Well, I'm glad that you guys find that weird. I don't think it's all that weird, but
and he also spells Burkoff with just 1 K.
Yeah, why would I spell it too? I'm doing good, dude. I have my window open. It's actually, right now, it is 19°C out, and it is
What's that in Fahrenheit?
Gorgeous.
Cool.
The 70s.
Screw you, man. We've had, up here in LA, it's been hot 99, 100 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's 70 degrees outside right now. I can actually drive to work with my windows down. It's gorgeous.
I wish. I have this fan on all day and I'm still hot. It's just like The one thing I'm not used to is the heat.
Jesus.
LA
We
heat
know how
sucks.
Evan is. He's just been licking the box of the Liverpool case of beer that he bought.
Yeah, it tastes like victory. It's delicious.
Thank you for anyone tuning into the audio version of this podcast. Thanks to Anchor.fm for sorting all that shit out. Whether you are listening to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, or
Stitcher.
wherever pods get caught in the net of the internet.
There's like 10 different services that they
the
post
webs
us out
they
to.
weave.
Yeah.
You got caught in the interweb of the... Yeah, whatever. I'm going to stop doing that. We're going to have to change up the teams this week. We do have a short quiz.
Okay.
But even up the teams, because Mitch and Liam would be on Matt's team, which isn't fair to Evan, but I was thinking about just going with it anyway. But I thought in the interest of fairness, I'll save the apology for next week. I'll write something official and have my lawyers look at it
I'll join Evan's
first.
team. We're both from Wisconsin. It's only logical that the blood relatives join up and fight the evil that are not in Wisconsin.
The long lost third cousins that you never knew you were.
Right.
Yeah. Starts with a W, right?
In the hick zone of you don't know where with too much cheese, man. It's just you get too much cheese in someone's body and too much beer, and all of a sudden you realize you're like 12 cousins.
Right, Matt, you're in the lead by 1 point on 60. Evan, you're 1 point behind on 59 because that's how points and maths works. Matt, since you're in the lead, would you like to go first or second?
Second.
Okay, the topic for this week, and it's a short quiz because it's fucking hard to try and find questions about this, is lawyers in video games.
Oh my God. All right. Okay.
Oh, God. Jesus.
I haven't played Ace Attorney in a long ass time.
I haven't even played Ace Attorney.
I haven't either.
Right, so, yeah, and this is what I mean. It's only going to be a short quiz. So, Evan, Phoenix Wright is most famous for being a defense lawyer, but what officially is he listed as being a professional at which game? I'll give you a hint. It's a gambling game.
Gambling.
Is it pachinko?
Technically not gambling, allegedly.
Oh, pachinko's not. Is it? So it's not an online like.
You could play it
game.
online. You could also play it with other people face to face.
It's well, we're talking about calling someone's bluff, right? So it's got to be what? Poker.
Yeah,
it is poker.
Fuck, that was. Right. I knew that one.
I did too.
I'm sorry. You should have said you went first, but that's your prerogative, bro.
At least now I know what the quiz is.
Yeah.
So you can look it up. True. Are you looking it up right now? Cheater.
Yeah, like. Hey, I'm not typing on my. If you hear keys,
there's no way that I'd get away with it.
Noise.
He put silencers on his keys so he could win on quizzes. That's why he's been doing this magical comeback. He put silencers on them damn keys.
Matt's secretly got a mink farm out the back so that he can make mink gloves, so that when he taps on the keyboard, it doesn't sound.
No, he put touch sensors on the top, so all he has to do is touch the keys instead of smacking them down.
Right, Matt, your first question. Phoenix Wright appeared in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with which other legal professional who was on the Marvel side of the fighting game roster?
Oh, She-Hulk.
I'll go with Liam's answer.
The guy with the comic book show didn't get the question.
Just had to think about it for a minute.
Teammate
and Liam had already answered. I was like, oh.
It could have been Matt Murdock as well.
Yeah.
I feel like She-Hulk was in the game, wasn't she?
Well, it seemed like that was the correct answer already by
There's a little fly buzzing around my head. So yes, well done. That's 2 points each. Evan, your next question.
Sorry, Matt.
Another Phoenix Wright question. Phoenix Wright was due to appear in a Wii exclusive fighting game crossover between Capcom and which anime and manga company?
The game that actually released?
The game released. They've had 4 versions of it.
Was it Capcom versus Tatsunoko?
It is Tatsunoko.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it wasn't called that. It was Tatsunoko versus Capcom Ultimate Fighter.
But that wasn't the question. The question was
No,
his
but-
company, right?
Yeah. So
Okay,
I
phew.
gave you some more information. I elaborated on the answer
Ah.
because I thought people would be interested.
But you didn't
But you
say
got 2
correct
points.
first. You just kept going, and I was like, "Well, did we get it wrong?"
Well done,
That-
well done, Evan. So
Okay.
you just kind of lucked out getting the Japanese cartoon question.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, a game I never played, but
I guess we should have went
remember
first.
watching it,
Burkoff,
or
right?
seeing the trailers.
Right, Matt and Liam. What is the name of the crooked attorney in GTA Vice City who helps Tommy Vercetti set up operations in the game?
Oh my god.
I don't remember this. I haven't played Vice City
Okay.
since fucking
Dude,
2000.
Rafa is like screaming.
Yeah, he's probably screaming at the
Yeah.
screen right now.
It's like,
was
why
amazed
was I
off.
not on the show today?
San Andreas is like the only one I've ever come back to.
Oh, I always went back to Vice City.
You know what? I
I've
feel
never
like
played
even
Vice City.
even when I played Vice City, all we did was put it in the cheats and run around and get our wanted level high. Like,
That's what I do
don't-
in every GTA game. I like don't even play the actual game.
Or
to be
I
honest.
played a day in the life, so I'd go to the police station. If the car door wouldn't open, I'd go to the ambulance, and then I'd like hurt people and then save them.
I'm gonna go with
Oh my god, that sounds something wrong with that.
I'm gonna go with Rosenberg. Somehow I think that might be the right answer.
Oh, Taps, you cheater. Fucking cheater.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Did
Taps,
someone
you
put
should
something
join
in the
if you're
chat?
awake, damn it. And Erebus, you both are awake.
Well, it's in the
Get your
it's in the afternoon at England, so
Oh, sorry, it's not.
Yeah.
Sorry. Who knows? They
Should
could have
be
taken a
awake.
nap. They could have taken a nap.
And then Otaps uses the emoji of his own face.
I know. That's what I saw.
That's
To be
great.
shocked about it.
Wait, I gotta look at this. I love that idea.
You
Do you
love
have
what
an
I do.
emoji of your own
Yeah.
face?
That he's using an emoji of his own face. That's great.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay, Erebus. Just just put the child in a playpen, and just shake it up a little bit every 20 seconds, just to make sure that they are that they're alive and you're good, right? No, just kidding. Please do not do that.
we've confirmed that Mitch would not be a good parent.
No, I'd be a great parent. Let's be honest.
Or paramedic.
Right?
Yeah.
Or a good cop.
Hurt people, then save them.
I mean, okay. Did you guys see the South Park pandemic special this week?
No.
No.
So
I have not.
long story short, cops ended up being teachers because the teachers went on strike and the cops lost their jobs because of defunding the police, which is not really what that statement is. And then the two white kids fought, and the cops took out their guns and they shot the only black kid sitting in his chair, and they said, "We got him."
Oh my god.
Jesus.
While
That's
Trump
fun.
says he will not, Mr. Garrison, who's president, said he will not stop the virus because it's killing all the Mexicans, and that's what he promised. He said, "Well, it's killing white people too," and he's like, "But it's killing more Mexicans, and that's what I promised. So don't stop it."
Oh my god.
That First Amendment, is they really like using it, don't they?
They did a full hour of gloriousness. I've so missed my.
We
South
don't talk
Park.
about politics on this podcast.
I'm
what
talking
we
about
not
South
to.
Park. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about South Park. That's not.
By extension.
Is there any
Um,
aspect of South Park that isn't political?
No,
You love
there
it.
isn't. No. So, Matt, I'm going to subtract you 2 points for engaging
For
in
cheating.
underhand practice and using answers from the chat.
Do I get a
Um,
point because I caught him,
No,
or were you going
that's-
to catch him?
no.
That's just
you,
overkill.
Because technically, we could have answered that question and steal some points. So we deserve half credit for catching them.
No, don't, Mitch. This is not the way this works. Don't push the quizmaster. He is gonna fucking deduct points
I'm
from
sorry.
us. Please.
I'm sorry,
We're ahead.
Quizmaster. I'm sorry. I'm
so,
sorry.
Matt,
sorry.
you're on.
I'm new
you stay
here.
on
Don't hurt
60.
me.
Yeah, well, I don't adhere to the rule of snitches get stitches, but don't keep it up. So, Evan, you've now taken the lead on 63.
All right.
So
I'll take
what we've
it.
proved here is Evan knows about anime, so that's helped him in this quiz, and also cheaters never prosper.
Unless your name's Donald Trump.
Well, no, technically he's not cheating. He's just setting himself up to create a long-winded legal battle if he happens to lose either the popular vote or the electoral college vote. But that's not cheating. That's just him using the legal system as it should be. Thanks, lawyers.
So what you're saying is he's brilliant?
No.
He also is trying to cheat death by like doing the thing you shouldn't do to not get death.
You gave him the fucking answer.
Not if he dies first. Okay.
Well, not if OTAPS dies first. That's a bit harsh. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, Jesus. What did OTAPS do to you?
Well, all he was
You
doing
can
was
feel
giving
it
Matt
from the
answers.
streets of Liverpool.
Where's
to
the
four
moderators
corners
in
of
this
the globe?
chat? Seriously,
A passion
there's
that
a
has been
serious
shared by
threat of
Carlsberg
death.
since 1992.
Everyone
Now,
wants to move the
nearly
topic
30
along,
years
so let's do
on,
that.
we raise a glass
Sounds like that Katy
to
Perry
everyone
song. Raise your glass
at
if
Liverpool FC. Is being crowned champions the best feeling in the world? Probably. Cheers.
Well done, Evan. Just to kind of cancel all that shite out. We're going to talk about live service games today because Matt wants to talk about Star Wars Squadrons.
Mick Womble. That's what I have too.
Well, you're doing
The same fucking
as well,
image.
same one.
I didn't know you grabbed the same one.
Please keep that. Please keep that. Do not change it. This is great.
I was grabbing one image for Anthem. I was like, I like this one.
Careful. This is the most publicity Anthem's had all year.
Should we do?
Probably.
And you know what?
Rogue Squadron
Yours looks
first?
like the Xbox One S version, and mine looks like the Xbox One. I'm sorry, Xbox Series S version.
Series X.
And
Yeah.
mine is
See?
the
There you
Series
go.
X, just a little more quality. Yours is a little.
I don't know. My
fuzzy.
picture looks sharper than yours.
Really? I think it's the opposite for mine.
I'm looking, they look exactly the same.
Yeah,
Huh.
I can't tell the difference at all.
Must be
Like your
Zoom.
PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. It looks slightly different.
Yeah, well, great.
I guess it
Whatever.
looks like a Zoom.
Matt, talk about Star Wars. And shut me
Star
up
Wars
for a bit.
Squadrons, probably the first game that I've bought on day one in years.
What persuaded you to buy it on day one?
Everybody
Star
Wars
talking
game?
about it in Pixel Pints, and I was like, Erebus Jones had his setup with the flight stick and everything, and I was like, fuck, I kind of do want to play this game.
Mitch is facing the wrong way in the cockpit. That's got to
sorry.
be a bad start.
Do the whole episode like that. That would be great.
I
if
can't
possible.
shake him. I can't shake him.
Wait, Burkoff. So you saw those posts in the Discord, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
I thought you had planned to buy it beforehand.
Well, I was interested in it. I wasn't gonna buy it day one. But then Dan was like, "Well, let me know if you're gonna buy it, and I'll play with you and this and that." And I was like, "All right, I'll just go buy it. Fuck it." And then I had forgotten that it was $40, so it's $40 for a
that's
full
right.
game. Plus, I had a couple of coupons at GameStop. Yeah,
You
so
did some coupon cutting
so I got
for your games.
$10 off that price. So I walked away.
Would you buy it on your PC?
No, from GameStop. I bought a physical copy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I walked away with the game for like $32, $33, and I was like, "This is great." Solid game. It's like Dumb and Dumber, where he goes, when you think you couldn't fuck this up anymore, you go and you totally redeem yourself. Like, why hasn't EA ever done anything like they've screwed up the Star Wars license until now? They've actually made a good, solid game.
I really like Fallen Order.
I do like Fallen Order as well.
Yeah,
I think that's their best Star
It
Wars
was
game. But I haven't
like
played
other
Squadrons
than The
yet.
Mandalorian, it was the best Star Wars thing that came out last year, which wasn't hard, I suppose. So I'm not
last
really
year.
sure that's much of a compliment.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious because it's probably like one of the worst things in Star Wars to come out that year. So like it really helped us set the understanding of the scale of shitty and this is actually good, or is it really great because this is so bad? Yes, Rise of Skywalker is a piece of shit.
Jedi Fallen Order hasn't gone below £35 here. and I'm not paying £35 for it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know about
You're right.
that.
I haven't seen much discounts for that game, even though like it's almost over a year old.
It'll probably be on Game Pass next year. So if you want to just hang out.
Well,
Don't make that
isn't it already
assumption.
on EA Access? It probably will be. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
EA
you-
plays.
We get the hour preview.
Sorry, EA Play.
Yeah.
My Access.
I mean, I don't think they'll pop it on EA Play 1 year after. I think maybe 2, maybe 3 years after they put it on EA Play.
Some
with Game
games,
Pass.
some games are going up like 6 months after they're released.
On
And
Game Pass or EA
Just like
Play?
Anthem.
EA Play,
Anthem
which is now going to be part of Game Pass.
So
But
because
usually
I'm
but
being
usually it's the
professional and engaging
unsuccessful
with
games.
chat, Erebus Jones is saying that he's going to be
Oh,
day
yeah.
one on Series X, and it's already on EA Play. So it's going
There
to
you
be
go.
there straight away. Another reason to go with the world's most powerful gaming console and not that cartoonish bookend piece of shit that is going to probably win out overall.
Dare you talk about my grandmother like that? Well, no, I won't have it on this podcast. Hey, Matt, talk about Star Wars
Star
Rogue
Wars
Squadron.
more, yeah. What is actually
Good about it.
what is it actually like to play? Because you and I spoke about it briefly, saying that you're going to play some lack of depth, pretty much throwaway story mission from about 5-6 hours, and then it's multiplayer time.
Yeah, well, okay, so I've put 3-4 hours into the campaign already, and I don't
How many
even,
hours was the campaign?
8 to 12. Like that's fucking amazing that it has that much of a story.
I'm
$40
surprised it's that
yeah.
long.
Yeah, no,
$40,
seriously.
that's a good price.
The story itself is not the best, but the setup for the missions is good. So
What do you mean?
it gives you like the objectives and the things that you're actually doing in the mission are interesting. So for example, like you always have in space combat games, you always have an escort mission. I don't know why they put that type of mission in a game, but they do. But this one's set up in a way that you're escorting a Star Destroyer, but you're defending it against waves of enemies. And so it's done in a kind of an interesting way, but it also is still teaching you mechanics of the game. So it's throwing in like you have a way to what they call drifting in your ship. So like you defeat a wave of enemies, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to teach you another mechanic, type of thing. So
How intuitive is it? And I've just put it in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kill the stream, kill it. Matt's
This
talking
is
too
going to
long.
be the episode where Matt talks the most out of all of us. This cannot stand.
Wait, but I want to clarify. I wouldn't call that an escort mission by the way you described it. I would call it a horde mode more of anything, because you're getting waves of enemies and you're just defending your spot.
yeah,
Because the Star Destroyer probably doesn't move very quickly. It's not like the escort is like flying and you have to like fly around it. And...
well, that's what I'm saying. Like it presents it as you're escorting this Star Destroyer, but the way that you play the mission is different. It's not an escort mission, I guess.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Point defense.
Yeah, kind of. But the environments are like the maps are actually pretty big. There's other stuff in the maps, like there's ship debris that you have to weave around. The prologue is pretty interesting. So like the prologue, you actually get into like a solid 10 minutes of you just getting acclimated to the controls, but it's like telling you a story while you're doing it. And you have the ship chatter from the other pilots that are, in your squad. It's a solid game. Like I was really impressed.
Where is it on the timeline?
It's right after Return.
Okay.
How's the sound design?
I was going to ask Matt the most important question. Sorry, Evan. We'll get back to yours
That's fine.
momentarily. You can be Matt for this episode.
All right, yeah, let's do
Have
it.
a treat.
Let's switch trading places. I like this.
How long did you spend in the character creator?
Not
Because
long.
you've got 2 characters that you can create.
Yeah, not long at all. Because you basically pick a face. You pick a face, a name, and a voice, and that's it.
There are not very many options.
No, there's not very many options. I think there's
Okay.
Really? I'm surprised.
there's like 12 options total. There's like 12 faces that you can pick.
Now my
Was
question would
one
be,
of the
and
names that
maybe
you could choose Gillian Anderson?
No, but I thought about naming my character that just to screenshot it for you guys.
So it could, and maybe Erebus and OTAPs know this too, is, do you know, so like my roommate has so actually two of my three roommates actually go to this school for video game art. So like they've already created some stuff where I had to like sit in VR and they had to videotape me so that they could like show it to their teacher to say they made a VR world that I could like step into. So they have a Vive. I mean, they have an Oculus. I wonder if it's Oculus compatible on PC, because if so, I'd love to try it in VR.
It's PlayStation exclusive for now.
Yeah.
It's just PlayStation for now? Okay.
They have said that it's coming soon. They have said that VR support is coming, but it's not straight away.
Maybe I'll buy it for PC, because I think it's cross-gen. Not
it's cross-gen and cross-play.
Cross-play, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. So the PS5 and Series X upgrades are going to be free. Just cue the slow fucking hand clap.
So what I recommend, fellas, we all put this behind our screens. We play some Squadrons, and we talk like the characters from the movie, being like, "Red leader standing by, gold leader." Except I'd have to turn around. I'm sorry. I'd have to go.
Yeah, you'd have to flip the image.
I mean, I appreciate a good old role play, but I'm not playing a game where you fly around space.
Halloween's coming up, fellas. We could literally buy costumes.
I'd sooner kill myself. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Liam.
If we pretend like we're in Mass Effect, maybe I can get on board.
I see what you're doing.
I mean, we could cross game.
Well, if they're not going to make the game,
it's Mass Effect meets Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, we'll make the game ourselves.
Erebus Jones is saying that it's already got VR support for other platforms.
Oh,
Sorry.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Well, I might try it in VR.
It
sounds like it'd be like the perfect game in VR.
So I know we're getting back to normal, but Matt was talking, people. Come on.
No, Matt got done with his sentence, and then we cut him off.
At least once a year, he's got to talk more than the rest of us.
Matt, out of 10, what would you rate this?
I'd give it an 8.5 so far. I mean, I haven't gotten all the way through the story, obviously. I did play a little bit of the multiplayer with the mode that's sort of unique to it, which is each team has like on Empire side you have a Star Destroyer and then two other things that defend, and you have to take out the enemy fighters and then take out, like, it's almost like a MOBA. You have to like take out the towers and then take out the Star Destroyer, but it's all in space.
How intuitive
are the controls? Very.
I want.
So
hold on. I'm gonna jump in partly because it matches my question too, so he kind of can answer both of them in one, McWomble. Because I was like, oh, that was kind of my question.
Okay.
The drifting. Tell me, does it feel good? Does it feel good to go?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it kind of feels like what you imagine it would be playing. Like seeing it in the movies or whatever. Like, they did a good job replicating that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you breathing okay, Matt? Are you breathing?
Yeah, I'm breathing.
Out of breath at all?
No.
Okay. Taps was making sure. He's like, you sound like you're out of breath.
So I'm talking too much.
What I was going to say, it was well done for linking the topics together, because now you've spoken about the in-game mechanics that they link you into feeling like a MOBA. How much of a live service does it actually feel? Because there's no microtransactions and no loot boxes. Again,
right.
Oh no, there are microtransactions, but there's no loot boxes. Again, cue the slow fucking hand clap.
Are there microtransactions? Is that a thing?
Yeah, because they're all cosmetic stuff.
There's cosmetic stuff.
But it's all.
But you can earn it in game, right?
Yeah, you can earn it in game, but it's all on the menu. Like, you see everything that you can unlock. It's not like you have to spend however much in game currency to get a randomized thing. It's like, I see a helmet. I want that helmet. This is how much in game. Chronotons or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah.
No, but can this stuff, can it only be unlocked in game, or can you actually pay real world money to unlock them
No,
early?
you can't pay money for it.
Okay, well that doesn't count as a microtransaction. That's an in-game system.
We got a first call out. Erebus Jones is counteracting Matt's statement, saying, "No, Matt, no real money options at all."
Yeah, it's not microtransaction if it. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I ignore any in-game store stuff. Like unless it's a free-to-play game. So
then why did you comment on such a thing when you don't understand? Just kidding. Just kidding, Matt.
Can you buy horse armor? That's all I want to know.
I don't think you can buy horse armor. You might be able to buy.
Can you buy Luke Skywalker? Is like Luke Skywalker like an option to get?
I don't think so.
See, that would be sweet. Why? Missed
No,
opportunity.
he's not part of the squadron. He's off doing his.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It takes place
Tactic
right
stuff.
after the game. He probably still helping them take out the rest of the Empire.
It's a side story, though.
Side story. Who cares? There's no logic. Star
If
Wars.
it was Luke Skywalker, it'd be freaking like killing everybody.
Yeah, you can do it where he like puts his hand out and forces the TIE fighter to like spin a different direction so you can shoot it. Like use force powers within the cockpit. There you go.
I might play that.
Fallen Order 2.
the game would become somewhat unbalanced.
Space combat.
Yeah.
This space combat, and then you can use force powers within that to like force the Yeah. No, I'm a genius. See, they should hire me.
The one thing
So,
that I do want to point out is that EA owns the rights for Origin systems. Whoever directed this game needs to do a fucking Wing Commander remake.
EA don't do remakes unless it's Mass Effect.
They're already working on it.
Just throwing it out there. Motive needs to do Wing Commander.
Nah.
Well, as a offshoot of the live service game that this spawned from,
Yeah.
have you played the Battlefront 2 or Battlefront?
Yeah. I had Battlefront 2.
Me too,
Okay,
unfortunately.
so what is different about this than the space combat from Battlefront 2?
It's a lot more nuanced, a lot more complex in terms of the controls. So it's much more fleshed
There's
out.
no loot boxes.
And there's no loot boxes, yeah.
Oh, it's like Battlefront 2 is sprawled with menus. Like seriously, I played Battlefront 1 and 2, and 1 is so much better in every way possible. I think they screwed up the modes in 2. The balance is really off in 2. The controls are a little jankier in 2. Like, man, I don't know what they did, but I cannot stand playing 2. Like, I rather play 1 when I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront.
I feel entirely the opposite way. I think 2's a lot better than 1.
No, I cannot. I can't get
In
behind
terms
it.
of game mechanics, not in terms of everything else.
Yeah.
I think
Just
the
plays
first
better.
game was severely lacking in game mechanics.
I think the maps are better in 2 for sure, but I think the modes are a little, and maybe they're too similar than the first one, or that they I don't know. I 2 is just not good to me at all.
Evan, how much of a Star Wars fan are you? And someone who played through Fallen Order on hard mode, because
first
of course,
time.
Like a masochist.
And gets angry about the first challenge. Like, it wasn't even a boss. It was a challenge to get a upgrade for your lightsaber, and he got angry about it.
Yeah, the shit's fucking sucked.
Because
I
you
did
didn't
it,
have
though.
to fight him to continue. You could have just left and came back later.
No, when all's said and done, I mean, I beat the game. I didn't bump the difficulty down, so yeah.
Isn't that a sign in life, Evan? You know, you should play it on the normal mode to start.
Some games, yeah, I need to get past that for sure. But that's the biggest thing that I've done in recent memory, where like it ruined slightly it bumped down my enjoyment of the game.
I like how you have to get
Anyways.
past it.
Yeah.
are you enough of a fan of the IP to think I'd play through a 12-hour campaign, and I know you may have to go and wash afterwards or go and see a priest, but to contemplate.
And then wash myself again after that meeting.
Have someone pray over your immortal soul for entering into a multiplayer suite. But would you think about it?
Well, I don't care for playing games where you're flying in space, so I wouldn't pick this game up.
Do you like flying games at all? Like flights?
No.
Yeah.
I have a weird, like, if I make a list of the genres that I play, it's actually quite limited, probably more than most of you guys. So the only flying I'm doing is in Shadows of the Empire, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. I like Star Wars enough where I'm interested in, like, oh, we have lightsaber sounds and TIE fighter sounds and just stormtroopers and that type of stuff. Like, you give me some of that, that'll get me to think about buying a game. But if it's strictly flying in space, I'm just not interested enough. So
yeah, I think I would be on your side, Evan. You know, like in Battlefront 2, the one thing I think they do really, really well is the flight missions. I think they do them pretty well. They're not amazing, but at least they're like short enough that I can like focus on it and enjoy it for like the short amount of time they offer it for. If you balance it
like that,
and so
like the Battle of Hoth, and then move to
in space all of a sudden, like
a bit of like fighting on the ground, and then go back. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So like I can see that, and so for me it would be like I don't know. That's why I asked Matt how it feels with the controls, because I was like,
when Evan buys his Xbox, he'll be able to play the story mission for Battlefront 2 for free because it will be on EA Play.
So, in terms of the controls, it's not as much of a first-person shooter as Infinite Warfare. So, like, it's like Infinite Warfare is very much we've taken first-person shooter controls and translated it to ship combat. Like this game is very much more geared towards flight sim, but it balances it just enough so that it still feels natural. You're still using the trigger button to shoot. The way in which you use the analog sticks is natural to look around and pan or yaw and all that kind of stuff. So but
that's not what I'm sorry, that's not what I mean exactly when I meant the controls. Like I said, I liked when you said something about like the drifting, like that's something that's fresh and different and might be able to allow me to keep interest more than, because like the tricky part with space is because it's entirely compassed around you, where if you're playing something like in the skies on Earth, you can only go so high and you can only go down so far. Where in space, you can go down as far as you want, or like the perception of being able to do that makes it a little more tricky in regards to like feeling like you just have so much space and there's not enough going on to feel engaged.
Okay, so in relation to other space sim games, right? Like here's the eponymous Colony Wars call out that I always do. But like in games like Colony Wars, you can totally just go off into Never Never Land and not realize that you're not engaging the enemy and the enemy's like way the fuck over here or whatever. This game is designed well enough that everything sort of stays in this like sphere of action, and it does a good job of keeping you there with the feedback that you get in terms of where the enemies are at, like how you're taking damage and things like that. So you don't really get lost off in the middle of nowhere.
So I prefer the look of this and the combat from Battlefront 2 than what I played in Rebel Galaxy, which I hated. I got bored of that game so fucking quickly. In Rebel Galaxy, your ship is all on one plane, even though you're in space, so you can navigate through 360 degrees. It's the camera that you can move within 360 degrees, but your ship is always stationary on one plane.
Yeah, it's level.
So that made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's at least the one thing going for it is like, for a person that enjoyed Star Wars Battlefront 2 ship combat, like this is what it really was originally meant for. So at least the basis there, what I enjoy, probably is there. So I'll probably give it a look see, especially because it's $40. Like it's not that pricey and it sounds exciting. So I'll give it a try and maybe I'll battle Burke off in space and we'll get in our I'll get my X-Wings and he can get in his TIE fighter and I'll kick his ass. How about that?
TIE Interceptor, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're getting super
it's a better
technical
looking.
here.
It's a better looking ship, the TIE Interceptor.
So what Matt is actually saying is the Libertarian Party are a bunch of space fascists. So well done. There's who to vote for in November. Vote for the space fascists.
It's always more fun to play.
But if you vote for the space fascists, they just end up dying just getting lost in space, like because
they have better fashion. That's what it is.
Even if they don't get their even if they got their name called, they wouldn't hear it because they're so far in space and no one knows they're there. That it's like, I'm sorry.
Well, you got TIE Fighter, you got X-Wing. It's like classic designs. You get TIE Interceptor. It's like even better, and you go Y-Wing. You're like, ugh. Going with the fucking fascists.
Actually,
you guys,
so
drop the ball.
No, they're pretty useful. The Y-Wings are pretty useful in this game, especially for.
I'm not saying they're not useful. I'm just fucking ugly ships.
And the A-Wings as well.
I'd play that game, by the way. Space Fascists. It just sounds like something that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It's a new RPG brought to you from Matthew Burkoff. You spend if you don't spend at least 20 hours in the character creation screen, they send people around to your house to take you to an internment camp.
No, what they do is if you
camp.
don't spend at least 3 hours in your character creator, you'll get a Skype call from Matt Burkoff to help you. Make sure you spend an extra 6 more hours trying to decide what to do with your character. And then he'll make them look like a Skyrim character, and he'll be like, "That's satisfying."
There you go.
So how because my experience of live service games is that they've turned games into chores in the same way that MOBAs were back in the day. So
you mean a to-do list?
Yeah. Do you have your kind of dailies, weeklies, tasks that build up your XP that earns you the credits to buy the? Answer that question, and then ancillary question. How long do you think it's now going to take you to buy the Ewok bobblehead?
20 hours.
Okay.
Can you buy bobbleheads?
No.
Can you? No.
Oh,
Okay. I was going to ask, while we're on this topic, let's separate the real people from the hypocrites. So who actually plays these on a regular basis out of this group? Like, if you do, what game do you play?
Do you mean live service games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, play quite a few. I'm pretty engaged in Call of Duty Warzone.
What else do you play, Liam?
Ouch!
I'm sorry, Keith.
Knife was thrown across the screen.
You're just not good enough. You're too amateur for me.
No.
Better than my
Liam,
guys.
Liam, just do a throw this way, and you throw a ninja dart right at McWomble.
So, Matt lowered my expectations so I can play with you some more.
Oh my god, this is fucking brutal. Trashing everyone.
Because I barely play
play?
any of them, because I find them tedious and frustrating and boring. I get through the main story stuff, and then I'm like, why would I want to continue playing this?
Well, one of the fascinating things about Modern Warfare in particular is it's a rather mediocre game.
I was gonna say, you want to know the fascinating thing about Modern Warfare? There isn't anything fascinating about Modern Warfare.
I mean, I disagree. I think it has a lot of good things going for it. Even though it's terribly balanced, the time it takes the developers to update bugs I mean, the game still has a bunch of bugs that were there when the game first launched, and it's just ridiculous.
You also have to download over 100 gigs just to play the freaking game.
Yeah, but it's a shit ton of fun if you've got friends to play it with. So I enjoy
that's the key. That's the key. Liam's hit the nail on the head.
And the campaign's quite good too.
I haven't touched the campaign yet.
I haven't either.
But I've been playing quite a lot of Warzone, and it's so much more fun when you play with friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I think live service games or games as a service is sort of it's a natural evolution out of MMO.
Or an evolution of online multiplayer.
Or both.
Or kind of like co-op multiplayer. Like that's
like
literally
a convergence. Or a convergence of MMO and standard multiplayer. Yeah.
Because I think at the same time they're like they don't make co-op as much anymore. So like, what can we do to involve multiple people on one screen? Because they're like, oh, gotta make this campaign 4 hours. It's got to be a beautiful 4 hours. I'm like, okay, yeah, good job. Good try with that one. So like, there's that, and then like online multiplayer in regards to like simple deathmatch, it doesn't do it for people anymore. So like everything has to be now battle royale. Which then also insinuates that people play together. So,
I mean, in fairness to Call of Duty needs that battle royale. I mean, it's just that kind of game that, I mean, it is essentially PUBG. It's like the original PUBG, and Warzone is just like a more production values PUBG, basically.
Sure.
Yeah. Otaps makes a really good point though, and he said. And I partially agree with it. It says spent probably 150 hours in Destiny 1 and 2 with friends only play was a good time. I didn't spend 150 hours, but I will say I did play a bunch of Destiny 1 and 2 with friends. But there was a point where me and my friend were saying, aren't we just doing like the same level? And I think we literally said, aren't we doing the same level? Like did we just do this one like an hour ago? And then we kind of realized that and we stopped. It's like, it is great as long as you still have to have like you still have to have that variety to like make people still entertained. Like the social aspect cannot be the only thing you can rely upon. There has to be a good avenue there to be able for people to want to be on there.
Well, there is a funny like distinction between a game like Call of Duty and Destiny 2 is if you play Destiny 2 with a friend, you're playing the exact same missions over and over again. You can expect the exact same enemies to spawn in the exact same places. That's why once you've played it a few times,
it's pretty damn quick.
And it's a freaking shame because the shooting mechanics on that game are some of the best shooting mechanics of any shooter I've played. And I'm like,
they're the best.
Why?
Feel.
Oh my God! What a waste of a great studio! Jesus Christ!
Exactly.
Like, I actually almost wished that like Microsoft bought them again, just so that they would make them say, you're doing single player and multiplayer shooters, none of this fake games as a service MMO crap because you can't do it right. Like you can make a good shooter, damn it, because they can, and it's a little frustrating.
The key risk and problem that this type of game model creates is the fix this, bug that. So, and it's obvious through patches and updates, and whether or not I know people who were massive into World of Blarcraft. And so whenever a big expansion was released, it didn't seem to bug out everything because the studio had been working on, let's build this section and then we'll build an entirely new section to kind of create additional characters and story and locations and whatever else. Whereas what you get now is this kind of incessant updating, and that particularly noticeably bad for Warzone, where, like Liam was saying, there's still bugs in that game from season 1. They've just released season 6, and some of the key features to improve your gameplay experience are totally bugged to shit, and they're not fixed yet. So they said that we've announced the subway, so you can go around the subway, which never existed in seasons 1 to 5. And if you get on the subway, it will only ever take you away from the gas, except it's bugged, so it will take you into the gas, so you immediately die. And if you get, I've seen things online, so people get on the subway, and then they'll get off the subway, and they can't aim their gun. And they'll pick up new weapons, and they still can't aim. They get back on the subway and try and aim. They still can't aim. So
and then they go in the gas and die.
And so no one's being able to use, or people have been warned off from using this new revolutionary gameplay mechanic that will improve your gameplay experience, because it's totally bugged to shit.
But you know why it's forgivable? Because it's free.
It's not forgivable. I don't.
Well, it's free for those that choose to play the free version. It costs 60 quid for those.
Well, to be honest, like there is a difference. Like there's a reason why Destiny has received more criticism. There's a reason why Anthem has received more criticism. It's because you're paying fucking $60 for that game. Sorry, pardon my French. I don't know why I spurred the F word.
We're almost an hour in. We're good.
Okay. YouTube.
I've
you didn't catch it. You didn't catch me
in the first 5 minutes. So it's fine.
But I was gonna. Sorry, I'll quickly finish. Is that like it's because you have to pay for it, and it's like when you release something and you're asking someone to spend money to buy, you expect a finished product. Now that product can continue to evolve and grow, but that initial product should be initially good and fixed. But yet these games still come out buggy as hell. Like, and they're just saying, well, it'll evolve. It's a game as a service. So it'll keep evolving. And it's like, that's unacceptable though.
I would
You are
say,
paying $60 for it. It's not like you are offering this for me for free and I will forgive you if you have some bugs in it. Like if I buy The Last of Us Part 2, I don't expect bugs in that game or a rarity. I expect maybe some rare bugs, but like there's a difference when you're asking
what
me to
about
pay
The Witcher
for it.
3?
Yeah,
That thing should cost.
Or Skyrim. It still has bugs in it.
Oh my god. Oh, Fallout 4. Oh, yeah, you should have seen me play Fallout 4. I had to redo my entire game after playing 42 hours because I dropped into a pit and my save it made me lose all my saves except for that autosave, and that autosave had me in the pit every single time with this much health, and I kept dying. I couldn't get out.
That sucks. Is that the exception to the rule though when it comes to single player?
What do you mean?
I would say that.
Go ahead, Liam. Yeah.
Sorry, I would say that I think there's a distinction with bugs in games. That bugs in certain games can be infuriatingly, you just can't deal with it when there's bugs in a certain game like Destiny 2 compared to a game like Call of Duty, which
game changing or game breaking is what you probably mean, right?
Well, it's not even just game breaking. If you break the balance in a game like Destiny, it screws the entire sort of ecosystem of the game.
Right.
Up.
Like I said, game changing.
If you do that in Call of Duty or Warzone, it's a grievance, but in some ways it makes the game more silly and stupid, or
like they've got at the moment.
But again,
where there's
you forgive it because it's free.
No,
you tend to. Mick Womble, you are not everybody. You are not everybody. Most people tend to forgive it because it's free.
No,
I do recognise that I am not.
I paid 60 quid.
I knew you were going to say
even the
something.
parts of the game that are exclusively
You're welcome, Evan.
for the paid game are still fundamentally broken. So I don't think it's just simply like a answer that's free. I mean, Destiny 2 is free now.
Yeah, there's a nuance in what you're talking about in terms of bugs.
So I would also challenge the fact that the game is available for free. So there is going to be a proportion of people who will never spend any money on it. Those proportion of people will find themselves at a significant disadvantage, coming up against people who have either paid for the battle pass or paid for the full game or bought things bespokely. So some of the aspects you can forgive texture bugs and things like that. I would say texture glitches, things like that. I can look over things where someone who spent money to get or plays more frequently than I can. So if there's one thing in Warzone at the moment that is totally broken, and it's this thing about you can get these armor-piercing rounds if you level up a certain gun. So if people want to just buy the battle pass up to that level,
2 specific new weapons.
you can shoot through anything. So if you know where someone is, you can shoot through anything in the way, and it will kill them. And those Infinity Ward have said, "Oh yeah, we're looking at it," but they're not fussed, because people are having a stupid amount of fun with it, and there's stuff being posted. But the point about it, that's not been forgivable because it's free, because people have had to buy the battle pass to then level a gun up, unless they bought a specific blueprint where you've got all this stuff. So there's a cash transaction there that has happened for someone to be able to access this thing that's broken.
Well, also, like,
therefore it's not forgivable in my eyes.
Yeah, my other point as well is that, like, that there is are people outraged about all of this stuff. Like, if you go onto a Call of Duty forum, it's just flooded with people saying, fix this, fix that. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The difference is that Bungie fixes all of the problems with their game. Infinity Ward's like, we'll get around to it, If you go back and play Black Ops 4, the Call of Duty game from the year before, try not to fix all the bugs. It's just a difference in developer. Like, they are there. It's just the developer either cares less or is just busy doing something else.
It's kind of interesting. Go ahead, Evan.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, Matt.
This is probably Evan's least interesting topic ever.
Very
totally
true.
Fine.
Getting back to the fact that, like, there was Black Ops 4, now there's Warzone. They're gonna
Cold War.
Yeah, they're gonna release Cold War. Is Cold War going to have a battle royale mode in it?
No, it's just an update to Warzone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Warzone from here on out. And then,
I was gonna say because
Cold War
finally...
is what, single player?
So you've got and again, bringing people back to the future of video games. You'll still be able to access all of the single player content our players and fans enjoy. So Cold War will have a single player campaign. It will also have multiplayer. It will also have zombies, and then there will be Cold War specific content that will go into Warzone.
Okay.
All right.
Well, they're going to have a huge update on the map and change it in various ways, and change the weapons that appear in it.
Nice.
But be careful on what that breaks in the process.
A lot of things are going to break.
This is the risk reward thing about live service model, is that, okay, we can update stuff whenever we want, but we don't realise what we might break in the process.
It is highly engaging when things are working.
But it's fun when you're witnessing this stuff with other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been hilarious last week seeing a drunk Matt playing Warzone.
Yeah. Shame you weren't there.
And I don't think there will ever be a game that will bring Evan into the live service ecosystem.
I think so.
Yakuza
There might be one.
Yakuza.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Yakuza.
Right. If they did a Yakuza Online, would you play that shit?
I would have to see the details of whatever that
The
is.
microtransaction has to be if you get a dance. Or if you
next show, Evan, I expect you to be on with a list of requirements for Yakuza Online that you can send to the developers.
All right, let me type that in notes because I'm gonna forget.
No, it actually would be called Yakuza Kamurocho Alive.
Yeah, that actually is a pretty good name of a bunch of English words smushed together for no reason.
Well, no, it's like the world is alive in Yakuza. Like everyone runs around Kamurocho.
Yeah. I mean, the names says what the game does, I suppose.
And then
Dude,
the faster way to earn like money for your transactions is like you can like be managing your own gentleman's club, like in Yakuza. Was it? Well, it's not gentleman's club. It's not the gentleman's club that we're used to here in America. It's ladies that are dressed nicely go serve you drinks at your specific table, and you have to match
Talking
it
about
based off
hostess
the
bars?
man. Yes, thank you.
You okay there? Evan?
They're weird places.
Which is in Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is actually my favorite mini game of all time.
Well, they
love
exist.
that minigame.
They exist here.
It's-
I've
Oh,
been
I
to
know they
them.
do.
It's in Zero
they're
though
weird.
too, right?
Yeah, they're
I haven't
in
played
Zero.
Zero.
Okay.
Oh man, how did we Never did I imagine that when discussing live service that somehow we'd make our way to Yakuza. I'm actually going to stop that
You're
and
welcome.
move back to what we were talking about.
Which was Yakuza.
No, I was
a
going to bring up a point that
dragon.
I was going to bring up a point that
Very first time.
McWomble had about how back in the day it was expansions and then it became kind of like it's a mixture of like microtransactions and the boiled
patches,
frog
yeah.
scenario of expansions to DLC and whatever. It started with horse armor and that as we joked about earlier, and now it's games as a service. And it's just an interesting. Well, I suppose it is kind of a boiled frog scenario, and like I don't know. One reason I don't like games as a service is I see a game like the Avengers, and I just think the time just designing the game from the start was we're going to make this a games as a service, where they could have put more work into making it a single player game, and then
I thought you were just going to say
before
making it
this-
fun.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, dedicating that much, and then what it would have been was DLC, right? Back in the day, that's how they would have possibly sold this game later to make it live longer.
Yeah.
That's what
DLC
DLC
doesn't make
kind of
enough money
was.
anymore. And this comes back to
Yeah.
the argument that I will
Well-
continue to have with Liam over the cost of video games and inflation, and games haven't gone up with inflation.
I mean, I'm on a different mind on that now. I mean, prices have gone up in the UK,
And
along
in the
with
US.
America.
Yeah.
Everyone's
but-
going up.
Yes, but the distinction in the argument was that prices hadn't gone up in America for years, whereas prices in Europe and the UK have gone up
And
considerably
Australia and Canada.
year on year, essentially.
But
And
then,
Japan.
but then also the other argument is like they're selling more copies of games than they ever sold before, so that should, balance out.
We'll wait and see. I think
Because- because-
it'll badly affect them in Europe
But,
this holiday season.
No, I understand. Like the raising up the cost will hurt them in the long run. I think they shouldn't have raised the cost because I don't think they weren't. I think that it wasn't. They were not making any money. Like they were making fine money the way things were. They just decided to hike it up so they can make more. Like that's what their thought process is. Because to be
Probably.
truthfully honest, they sell more copies of a single game than they did 5 years ago, hands down. There's the console of if you go between how many Switches, Xboxes of all the versions and the PlayStations of all the versions, there's more consoles sold in this generation than any other generation, which means more sales. We see more sales in the 10 million copy range than we've ever seen in this generation compared to last gen. So like it's not like they're not selling more copies, which means they're making more money, which means they can offset those costs by doing that. They're just being jackasses and want more money.
I'll tell
And
you
so
what.
they're hoping-
I'll tell you what.
There's a lot of
Stay on
variables.
topic.
Stay on target.
We're
Stay
too close.
on topic.
Well, sorry, let me revert it back. So then they're going to this method because they're trying to say, well, we're going to charge you $70 now for a video game. Let's give you options to have a free game, but we can just charge you in-game transactions because people like playing that type of stuff. So like the example is, oh shoot, I forgot what the game was called that was on Game Face today. That was not Game Face today, yesterday. That Matt played.
Genshin Impact.
Thank you. That one's
That-
completely free.
Yeah.
And apparently
I
it's a
skipped that
decent
entire
game.
topic, scrubbed the way.
Well, long story short, Keith, it's actually a pretty good game, and you don't have to even spend anything on microtransactions to like complete it.
I'm just doing it because I don't want to support China.
Hang on.
Right.
I'll tell you what, EA can charge me $40 for a brand new game with a solid single player campaign all day, every
Just
day.
as long as there's space
Well,
fascists.
and
in
it justifies it, Burkhoff. It justifies it. You know,
Right.
if we look at times and we look at like value and costs, $60 games roughly gives you about 20 hours or more in a single player game if you have a single player experience tacked onto it, except for Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's cheapo assholes and they just care about the multiplayer.
Well, yeah,
but
I mean,
at
they've
least
got, like,
you're getting
6 modes, but yeah.
Yeah, but at least you're getting 20 hours usually out of some kind of single player mission. So the fact that you're getting 12 on a $40 with multiplayer
Well,
justifies that cost pretty much. I don't think I would pay 60.
Yeah.
Would you pay 60?
no, I wouldn't have bought it for 60. The fact
There
that
you
it
go.
was 40, I mean, that was part of the reason I did buy it day one.
There you
That's a good point, because they made a great value evaluation, and they will pay dividends for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
hopefully,
so
like,
yeah.
I don't care about the game necessarily. Well, I wouldn't play the game, but I hope it sells to teach them, like, hey, like, it's like Jedi Fallen Order. Like, that game sold well, I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sold above expectations.
That's the reason is, whenever I get a brand new console, I'm always like, oh man, I'm just going to buy a bunch of games because this is just exciting.
And you can't.
And, well, no, I mean, I can afford it. It's going to run me a bit drier than it usually would. I think a lot of people will feel the same. But the thing is, I'm going to make a conscious effort to buy far less games than I would have, had the price increase not happened. So it's
But
like,
that's what
okay,
that's what I mean.
I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy that, and these are going to be my 3 games for the rest of the year, and hopefully that will teach them something, It
Basically,
probably won't, because
basically
voting with your wallet is a bit of a myth, but you got to try and do it anyway.
Yeah, so
Wait,
basically you're hoping that PlayStation Plus gives you some quality, good free games coming up, basically.
Nah, I mean, I'll
But,
be fine with just Miles Morales and.
But I will say, like, Miles Morales is $40, which is about a 12 to 20 hour experience. Again,
Well,
good value for your dollar.
That's good value, and they would have been looking real pretty if they hadn't asked people to
raised
pay for
everything up to
Spider-Man.
What?
Yeah, at least- I'm saying they would have been looking real, pro-consumer and real nice. It would have been a real nice package if they hadn't asked people to pay for the same game, Spider-Man
Yeah,
remastered.
should just
But
give
it's
it to
separate.
them.
You don't
There
have
go.
to.
No, but the point is that, like, if you're going to buy Miles Morales, like, you can upgrade from the PlayStation 4 version of that to the PlayStation 5
Yeah.
version for free, but you can't do the same with the original game.
Marvel
It's-
Spider-Man.
Well, I get that, but I think based off what features are coming with it, like the remastered version isn't going to have the same amount of costumes and things like that. So I wonder if there's something in the game's code that doesn't let you upgrade. Like as easily
any
would
game
with
is
Miles Morales.
upgradable. Like, any game is upgradable. It's just a simple case of saying, "Oh, this person owns this. There you go. They unlock this version of this game." It's just anti-consumer,
Yeah.
And
Everything's
not to
tied to your
mention-
account now.
Yeah, not to mention, if you want to, you can't even buy the remastered version of the first game for free. Sorry, you can't even buy that game separately. You have to own Miles Morales first before you can get the remastered version.
But it's $20, so it doesn't really matter. And
No,
and if
but
you're going to
the
buy
point is-
if you're going to buy Spider-Man, you're going to buy Miles Morales anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree, but you can make generalizations like that, but that doesn't mean everybody else feels the same way.
Yes, but at the same time, I'd say like
And
This
it
may-
doesn't.
this-
It
this
doesn't
may not be-
mean that
this
it's
may-
not anti-consumer to begin with.
this may not
like,
be their initial thing though. Like
It
I'm sorry,
doesn't matter. The point is that you're just making excuses, for poor consumerism.
I'd like
don't let them
to
get away
point
with it.
out to everyone that I don't care, because I have, by the looks of things, I have neither next-gen console. So screw the
Oh, yeah,
screw the lot of
so,
you.
so your payment
You're
plan
all
didn't go through,
scum.
like those other people that got an email post saying, "Hey, your actual confirmation isn't real. Now you have to try again."
I don't know what the hell's going on at the moment, because I got an email saying that, in response to the email that we sent you last week that I didn't get. Where your finance agreement has been was not successfully approved, so you won't be getting something. In our previous mail to you, we said we were going to cancel your direct debit agreement. Didn't get that email. and also it contradicts the email that I got from the company the week before. No, so that was the email from the finance company. The retailer sent me a separate email that said something different. So I've contacted both and said, could you please tell me what the fuck is going on? Because you're contradicting one another.
Has the direct debit even been cancelled? Because mine's still active, and I didn't even get an order confirmation or anything.
No, I'll need to check my bank.
Well, the email that I saw that was posted online, this probably, I don't know if this is American email, like in regards to the structure of the payment plan, but it sounds like they're still on the payment plan. They just have to try to pre-order a new console, and they like have a 72-hour window to try to do that.
That's weird.
And it's like, why confirm you for the payment plan when you don't have a console to get it with? Like,
yeah, well, it's
I think they.
As much as I hate saying that he's had a good idea, I mean, it fucking bores in my brain.
He does work in finance, so.
Yeah, he did come up with a good option, which is you don't go through the finance route until you've actually secured. If they could stage the process for you to obtain the console, so you go through the queuing system, you say which console you want, then you go and confirm that is the thing that you want, and then you go to the payment, and one of the options at payment is pay in full or use the finance agreement to pay for it. So you've already gone through the process of securing it.
Yeah, that's the way motor vehicle purchases work. You go in, you find a car you want, and then they determine how it is that you're going to pay for it. Either you're going to get finance,
and it's a guarantee you get the car.
Yeah, because you've already set aside that object. Yeah.
You've seen it's there, and they're being like, we will hold it for you while we process all this. And then if it doesn't work, then no, you don't get it. Yeah. So basically Microsoft did, in a sense, is they said they had too many consoles.
Here's everybody that can have credit. Okay, now we don't have enough machines to give them.
Exactly. They basically overdone themselves by saying, stores, here's how many consoles we have.
I mean, I think,
and it's like, no, we don't have that many actually.
This is a bit off topic, but yeah.
Here's us over here.
I mean, I think we talked enough of that topic, and we just want to.
I've one final question for everyone here. If you could go, you have to choose one, and this is like microtransactions, skins, DLC. I don't know about expansions, because expansions are kind of like an extra part of the game or a new game. But if you could choose just, you buy the game, you get the game. I'm talking, you buy Chrono Trigger on the nice SNES cartridge, and that's the game you get forever. There's no more DLC. There's none of that. Or the world that we live in now. Which would you choose? I'll finish I would choose just, I buy the game, I get the game. That all that shit doesn't exist. It'll never be made. One game, one disc, and I move on.
Well, one thing about what you're saying is there's a strange thing. Like, whilst technology has grown, the kind of games that they make nowadays are infinitesimally more complicated than the games that we used to play in the 16-bit era.
But he's creating a fake world that you must live in, Liam. So abide by the rules.
If we're going by that notion, then of course you would prefer the first option every time. But
what if you beat Chrono Trigger and you wanted DLC?
I was gonna say I want DLC.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy game, play game. Can I have, if I enjoy it that much, can I have DLC?
And if I don't want it, I don't buy it.
And if I don't want it, I don't pay for it.
Exactly.
I could live without DLC for a full-fledged game that they believe this is the entire product. Because
I don't want this ever expanding game, because it feels like they have no vision.
So there's no layer of the Shadow Broker.
That's what I was going to say. I would.
But then they would have put that in the sequel.
No, they wouldn't have.
Such an awesome idea.
They wouldn't have fit it in the sequel. Are you freaking? Did you play the sequel? They could not fit it in the sequel.
A lot of the things in Mass Effect 2. A lot of the things in Mass Effect 2 were cut content from the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it could make it into the next one. It's like they wish they.
Because you wouldn't miss it because it never existed.
But I really like Is it Liara?
No,
you
don't.
Name?
You don't.
She was my love interest. I liked her.
You don't like her.
I hate that I couldn't be romanced with her in the second game. And then she made me feel bad in the third game because I hooked up with Jack. What kind of shit is that?
That's your
You
that's
judging
your fault.
me
That's
when
the-
you
you-
didn't want to come back with me? Like,
Mitch,
what the hell is
you've
that
You've got
all
no
about?
one to blame for yourself there.
We need
Nope,
to talk
that's
about
bullshit.
your...
That I call bullshit.
No.
I just remember that moment of going like, seriously? You're gonna hate me because I hooked up with Jack when you didn't want to be with me anymore? That's such bullshit.
I just
through-
realized.
I romance Liara in all 3 games. So I don't know what's wrong.
She's not in the third. She's not in the second game. She's only in Shadow Broker if you get it.
I realized
She
that
is in the second game. She pops up a few times.
I romanced the.
No,
she does.
because they say she's gone. She's
I romanced
off
the
on
space
adventures.
racists. Is what I did.
No, she's in there. You can visit
Ashley
her
Williams.
Ashley and Miranda.
Man, I'm seeing a space
I hate
racist,
Miranda.
space
She's
fascist.
space fascist.
Oh, what the hell?
There's a pattern.
Yeah,
I'm not
seriously.
sure I
Don't you
would-
like that alien poontang?
Burka,
I-
you don't like to spice it up in the bedroom, man. You just like it basic.
Is everyone would go for like the world with the extra stuff then?
I would want expansions.
Okay.
If the world were just set
Warcraft,
stories.
Blarcraft.
Yeah.
If the world were Blarcraft, I would go for Blarcraft
I'd go
expansions.
for expansions.
Man.
So-
I'm totally on Evan's side on this theoretical question.
On
I-
that
I,
note,
I could do it because I wouldn't know. Like
Are we gonna wrap
Control
things up,
DLC was
gentlemen?
great. Control DLC was great, but if it didn't exist, I'm fine with the single player
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, to
Exactly.
be honest, the
That's what I got.
Control DLC it's good, but it really doesn't change the game. Like,
I
it
just-
just-
DLC is not good.
I've changed my mind, and
It's
I'm going to go
fine.
with Matt. I'm going to go with expansions.
it's too late. The show's over. You already played the
He's
music.
not played the music yet. He's
Played it
not
yet.
said on that note we're
Oh.
out, so we're fine.
Oh, I thought he
Um,
did. I thought he did silently, being like,
Yeah.
Because I would prefer that things that were chunked up as DLC were actually released as expansions like they used to be.
yeah,
well,
like
I
a
guess-
full
I guess when-
story, not
well,
just
when I say-
bits and
well,
pieces.
but when I say DLC, it could be as big as they want it to be. It could be an expansion, and it could be a whole nother $60 DLC. But
Well,
it's just this giant
the
one, or
expansion-
it could be this little one.
The
It's
expansion
like
argument.
variety is there.
The expansion argument is, at least in the old days, in the PC context, you went to the store and you bought another disc.
BMT Burkoff before my time.
Okay, well, expansions, yeah, it was like I had the base game, I had a physical copy of the rest of the story or an addition to the story, and so on and so forth.
Right. Well, then,
Well,
there's
but I
one
would
more
say-
argument is like the stuff that was left out of the first game would be put in the second game, which happens all the time.
Yeah,
So then you could-
or it would just be put in the first game because they were making one full product. They don't
And
have.
there's no DLC to be
Yeah,
had.
they have
so.
no DLC, so they're like, oh, we'll just put all of this content in the main game and
So
release
we're all talking around the same topic, which is
Yeah.
what we would prefer because we're old and stupid, except for Mitch, because most stuff was before his time.
Back in my
Still-
day,
still-
the game was the game that you bought. The game you
Yeah,
bought was the
and
game.
we
you
ju-
bought.
we just want-
You bought
just
it
wanna
at
buy a game, play a game.
game store with record players.
I used to buy my games and bottle caps, and
two TikToks and a Cardi B.
TikToks and a
All
code.
right,
Jesus
please,
Christ.
next.
And on that note,
Please
I
end
think
this.
we're out.
Thank you. Play the music, please.
Oh.
As soon as the music's over, Burkoff, I do want to say something. So tell me when it's gone. I didn't want to say it on the show because I thought it would think it would corrupt
I
me
will
too
forever yell at Cloud.
Yeah, I just had to delete the anthem background because it just makes me feel sad.
Did you see what mine is, Evan?
Yeah, I was gonna comment on it, but we got kind of caught up. Yeah, it's a great background.